Hello guys, and welcome to this Volks Wizard video. Now, I've been a big fan of hot Audi estates for a very long time. I bought my first, a B5 S4 Avant in 2006, and that was a brilliant car, but it had just one problem: it wasn't an RS4. So in 2007, that's what I bought. Same thing happened in 2010. I bought the B7 S4 Avant, and in 2011 I bought a B7 RS4 Avant. Well, Audi have just produced a new version of the S4 Avant that promises to be more than just a less good version of the RS4. The big difference is that it's not powered by petrol. It's actually powered by diesel. It's powered by diesel. So to find out if Audi have gone completely around the twist, let's have a closer look at this S4 Avant TDI. So this is very similar to the previous generation car, apart from it's had the benefit of Mark Lichter redesigning it. So we've given it a bit of a stance now. Mark's one of us. When I went to the Audi Design Museum in late 2017, he rocked up in his RS6, which was lowered. It had spacers on the wheels, it had rolled arches, and it was in like a matte green colour. And he's trying to give some of that stancing to his cars. Obviously, you can't make it a crazy wide arch car because it's a mass market car, but what he's done is that he's given us quattro blisters on the rear haunches and a bit of that at the front as well. You can see how the panel kicks out here, which has given the car a much better stance, a much better presence on the road. It's only subtle, but the previous model car was a little bit bland, and I don't think the sales were as good as expected. So they've thrown the book at this car, both in terms of design and spec. We've got a wider and flatter grille. In fact, every panel on this car, apart from the bonnet, roof and tailgate or boot, is different to the previous generation car. It does look a lot like an S-Line though, this S4, and the only way you can really tell is by the silver bits on the grille there. You've also got silver mirrors, but we've had the two parked side by side today and it's been really difficult to spot, but when you start them up, my word, you can tell this car is not your 4-cylinder diesel. It sounds incredible, as we'll come to later. This car's got the optional red brake calipers, 19-inch wheels. It's also got adaptive suspension, which is well worth £1,000 or so, because it rides a lot better than the standard 2-litre diesel, which, bearing in mind it's got like nearly double the horsepower, is really incredible. So yeah, for £1,000 you've got to spec it on these cars for the UK market, because our roads are just so bad. So this colour is quantum grey. It looks a bit like Nardo, doesn't it? It's not a metallic colour, it's solid, but yeah, I think it looks pretty good. Let's have a look inside. Oh, before we do that, with one of the red calipers we've got 2-piece brake discs. So these look like, yeah, I mean, I don't know about the previous gen car, but these were always a signifier of RS4, so they're quite expensive to replace, but they've got a gap between the aluminium bell and the steel disc to allow for expansion. That's a pretty serious brake disc for an S model. Okay, got S on the sill covers there. We've got stainless steel pedals, got lovely quilted leather, which I think is pretty much identical to the sport seats in the RS4, so that is pretty nice, just a standard black headliner. We've got the virtual cockpits inside. This is the Gen 2 version, so it's a little bit nicer to look at than the old one. Just give you a quick flick through. So if you press that, you can do that, hide the dials down there. I'm sure you're familiar with it, but it's just been upgraded in that the quality of the graphics is a lot nicer. We've got drive select, so if you watch the bottom left gauge there, you can go through the modes. So we've got individual, dynamic, auto, comfort, efficiency. Very importantly, we've got the new touchscreen here, so yeah, it does look a bit sort of like an afterthought the way it's plonked on the dash, but it works actually, and it's really functional. So I guess that's, you know, I always say function should be really important when it comes to driving, because you're driving, so you want stuff to work. This touchscreen didn't go down very well when it came out in the A7, A6 and A8, but I've been using it all day now and it does work really nicely actually. So you've got haptic feedback, you've got the click, you can feel it, everything works first time, and it's quick. And the phone's really good as well, so that's quite a nice touch. I've been using the phone and everything. I've got very comfortable in this car very quickly. This car's a Quattro, of course, so you've got the Quattro badge on the dashboard there. Lovely bit of carbon fibre, heated seats, start-stop down there. The lovely over-engineered alloy trimmed 12-volt blank is pretty cool. Speed control for the cruise control through this stalk here. Gear shift paddles, nice flat bottom steering wheel, folding mirrors, as you'd probably expect. Yeah, let's just have a look at the spec sheet. The basic price of this car is it's about 49 grand on the road these are, so there's a few extras on here. It's got quantum grey paint, is actually 675. Looks like the sport seats are standard, so there is a lot of spec chucked at these cars to make them more appealing. And apparently you can just, this is a 60 grand car, but you don't need a lot of this really. The standard spec is pretty good. Well, actually, having said that, I'd really go for the Quattro Sports differential, so I don't think we're going to be able to try it on the Cotswold roads around here, because they're either really straight or really narrow, so we won't be really loading it up too much. But yeah, some of the other things like matrix LED headlamps, well, if you live out in the Cotswolds, that's a must. Dynamic steering I'd probably do without. S suspension with damping control, definitely for £1,000. Carbon inlays, 475, yeah, quite like those. Tow bar prep, I don't think I'd go for that. A few other bits and pieces, but yeah. The big difference with the new A4 and S4 range is a lot of things that were optional in the past are now standard. So pretty much all of the tech pack, which was an option before, has become standard, which makes this car a much more attractive proposition, because there's nothing worse than going, oh, that's attractive at 49 grand. And then you realise that to make it the car you want, you've got to spend 60. Now, pretty much everything's included. You can gild it with like stuff that weird people like me would want, like sports differential. You don't have to. The standard car is a really good basic package. Anyway, it's enough chat from me. Let's go out and drive the brand new S4 TDI on these wonderful Cotswold roads. Okay guys, here we are behind the wheel of the brand new S4 TDI, and the first thing you notice is that this car does not sound like a diesel. I've driven the lower powered diesel today and you can still hear the diesel rattle coming through, but this is a 6-cylinder diesel, which means that rattle is more subdued, and they've also added to it by putting in a sound generator into the exhaust system. So it's not the crappy fake thing at the bottom of the windscreen you'll get on a Golf R. This is proper noise that's made externally as well. You probably won't believe it, but it sounds like a V8, and it sounds actually very similar to the C7 RS4, which always had a cultured V8 woofle to it. And I don't think you could ask for a better soundtrack for a car like this. The reason it's so noisy is that we've got Drive Select here, and it's in individual mode. Somebody's chosen for the engine noise to be pronounced, so the options are subdued, automatic, or pronounced. So it's as loud as it can be. It's not annoying. It's a really nice background noise, and I'm really impressed. I wasn't expecting that. Plus, if you listen to the car outside like I have today, coming and going in the car park, it sounds like a V8 then as well, which I think was a real bonus, because the reason I've been excited about driving this car is because of the 700 Newton meters of torque. Now, much like an Up GTI, the BHP figure isn't anything really to write home about. It's just 347 PS, which is a bit down on the previous petrol car, but the torque is massively up. We've got 700 Newton meters, and that is what you really need in real world driving, because it just makes the car so quick in gear. I mean, if I block it into gear, this is 8 speeds that will kick down if I floor it, but if I put it, I'm in 5th gear now, it just feels like it wants to wheelie. It's incredible. The petrol S4 that's just been superseded has a lot of rivals in the market, not least the RS4 itself. This car, because of everybody moving away from diesel, including Porsche, is quite a unique thing in the marketplace. And let's face it, you get better benefit in kind if you're a company car user, so you're much more likely to pick it than if it was a petrol car. You get 40.9 miles to the gallon on the WLTP test regime, which is much harsher than the old one, so that would have been probably in the high 40s on the old system, and apparently it is a realistic 40 plus mpg, which for this kind of performance that really squeezes you into the back of your seat. So whilst I appreciate there may be people doubting the validity of a diesel powered S4, the more you think about it, and definitely driving it, you realise this is a brilliant move by Audi, because it really is the best of all worlds. So you've got practicality in the Avant, you've got performance, you've got economy, you've got benefits in kind benefits for company car users. and it's under £50,000 as well, and these facelift cars come with so many extras. You probably don't need to actually add any more, so that means the benefit in kind tax remains based on the list price, and that's under 50k. So yeah, you're paying the luxury car tax, which you would expect for this kind of luxury car, but you don't have to load it up with options to get the car that you really want. And I've probably said this a lot of times, but if I had to have one car that suited me, there is no doubt about it that now this S4 is diesel powered, it would be right up there on the top of my list. And funny enough, if I was to sell my R8, I could go out and buy one, so that's definitely something to have a think about. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this Volkswizard video. If you have, please give it a thumbs up, please comment, please share, please subscribe, and I'll see you for the next one really soon. Okay guys, I've got somebody inside the car now, and he's going to switch it from comfort mode to dynamic mode, so you can hear the difference in the exhaust, because this car sounds bloody amazing for a diesel. It sounds bloody amazing for a V8. So let's go, let's give it a rev then. So that's comfort mode. So we've got diesel rattle from the front, but we've got a V8 woofer from the back. Now let's go into dynamic. And you can hear that inside as well, and it does sound real. It's not embarrassingly Subaru-esque like in some cars I can mention.